Y'all, we've all had embarrassing BO moments. Look, I'm from Mississippi where it's 150 degrees and humid in the summer, and BO should have been my middle name growing up, okay? And now, as a lady of a certain age with a bountiful bosom, my main issue has always been that under boob sweat. But luckily, I have Lumi, which is powered by mandelic acid to control odor in a new way. Lumi delivers outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, to your underboob, and even your privates. You know, Lumi was invented by a female OBGYN. Lumi has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love to feel confident from head to toe. And you guys, they have a new scent that you're going to love. It's called Vanilla Bliss. I love anything vanilla, and I love this so much. And it's apparently already on its way to being one of their most popular scents, even though it just came out. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant right now? You can find it at Walmart, Target, or other retailers. But to get the best deals, you should go to LumiDeodorant.com. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. You guys, the deodorant wipes are great. Leave them in your car, throw them in your purse. They're great. And it comes with free shipping. As a special offer for my listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. You have to do it. So insert code Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Okay. Use code Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's LumiDeodorant.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you, okay? Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday. That means it's Poppin' Bravo Day. And I've got what some would say a Bravo expert. It's my friend. It's Amy Phillips. Hey, girl.
So delighted to be here. Yeah, I am. I love you. I love Bravo. And I love the drama. You know, I don't have a ton of drama in my life. So I look forward in the shows that I watch. Thank God I don't have a ton of drama in my life, at least during this season. Let's just say
this season of your life, you don't have another drama?
Life. Yes.
Well, you have a teenager on the rise.
Yes. And by way of, she's 7 years old, by the way, who thinks she's a teenager, much like I'm sure you guys, if you have children, have experienced that.
I'm going to say it's going to really hit the fan around age 12, but it's going to ramp up around 10 and really turn a corner for the worst around 12.
The worst.
And then, you know, you'll come back around age 20. Just letting you know.
Thanks so much for the heads up. I actually, this will be interesting. You know, what's so funny? It's Women in History over at her school. And so they send this thing out where they ask for volunteers to come in and dress up as a character. They do a different theme every year. Last year it was chefs. So, of course, I volunteered and I was Rachel Ray. Well, this year it was female authors. So they had a list and they gave me Mary Shelley, which was exciting because author of Frankenstein, obviously.
Of course. Yes.
And so yesterday and today, I mean, I've been dressed from like Mary Shelley from head to toe. I've done like 12 classes where I go in there and I pretend I'm her and I'm talking about my work and myself. And it was so much fun. The kids are hilarious, and just getting into character and like, you know, interacting with them in this way was just an absolute eye-opening experience, because they can be, if you play them the right way, you know, they can be captivated by what you're doing, you know, because you're a character. So it was so much fun. And so my teenage daughter was I asked her before I did this, I was like, well, I was going to volunteer. Would you like that? Or would that be embarrassing for you? And she said, no, I like that. I like that. So thank goodness she's not too cool for school yet.
Not yet.
But she was really excited that I was there, and it was so fun. And I got to see her.
what a role that you were born to play. And did you feel like it was like interactive theater? Like I went one
Yeah.
to that interactive theater in New York where it was like Tony and Tina's wedding. You know, like one
I
of those,
remember that.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like just like in the bathroom, and there's one of the bridesmaids like crying in the bathroom. So fun. And we didn't really quite know. I went with my mom and my sister, so we were like, what is this?
That's so
But
funny.
like when we were in line to go in, like the groomsmen were having like a fight in the street, like before you would go in,
Oh, that's awesome.
I would really love to do it again now that I know, because I would like lean in. I would be
Oh,
like,
for
ooh,
sure.
I would like, what's the scoop with the bridesmaids, you know?
Yeah.
I would be treating them like their character instead of trying to like make them break. So
Mm.
that was sort of what you were doing. Now, did Mary Shelley have an accent that you
Oh,
could lean
yeah.
into? Mhm,
Absolutely. I
mhm.
came in and I was very much in character the whole time. Like
Good.
I came in stoic, and
Mhm.
then when they would act up, or they'd be talking over each other, or they'd be, running amok or not raising their hands, I would be like, Gothic faces, Gothic faces. And they were like, it was so funny. It was,
Amy.
and I brought people up to reenact bringing the monster alive. So
Mm.
one person was Dr. Victor Frankenstein, one person was the monster, and one person was the electricity. It was so fun.
Amy, I'm seeing this for you. I'm seeing you teaching theater to the youth
Mm.
of Santa Clarita.
Yes, I am happy to do it. I definitely get involved where I can, and as much as I can. So I'm going to do this every year, but and then next year I'll get involved and help with the talent show. I've already committed to that, to help them
I'm
with the.
dying. This is great.
Yeah, you have to, like, you got to do what you can do. You got to do. Public school is amazing, and even if you're in private school, I'm sure there's plenty of things to volunteer for. But education is like, it is top. It is number one, the most important thing in our lives. And I mean, to think
Totally.
like this was such a reminder, remembering how our women's rights, we just, the equality about gender is just been not good from the jump. And in London at that time, Mary Wollstonecraft, who was Mary Shelley's mother, which I
Uh-huh.
did not know, who was an advocate for women's rights, and like the first of her kind over there. And
Like
so
the 1800s, are we
it was the
talking?
1800s. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
it just is interesting. Like they weren't educated, they didn't get to have education
Right.
because women weren't thought of that way. So it's just, here we are all these years later, and, we still have our struggles, but by
Uh-huh.
God.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
That's amazing. My kids went to public school as well, and we have a great public school system here where I am, but lots of their friends also, went to private school. It's whatever. But my kids were in public school, and I was the volunteer for the Girls on the Run, which is like a running program. Okay, now I don't run at all,
Okay.
but I was like, okay, well, I'd love to kind of be involved because it's like a girl power thing. So if
Yeah.
Girls on the Run comes to your school, definitely do it. And you don't have to be a runner, but
Oh, okay.
but at the end of it, you do run a 5K with all the girls in the run in your area. Like for us, it's like the DC,
Oh,
yours would be like LA.
so cool.
And I, did it. The whole family did it. You do it. And you don't have to
Wow.
run the whole time, obviously. And you do like a practice one. Like I pulled my car to the middle of the field and opened the trunk, and we had fun music blaring. And
That's
it,
awesome.
it's that whole campaign that also started around that time. And I don't know if you've ever seen it, Run Like a Girl. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen that?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I remember that.
That came out at that time. And that was a partnership with Girls on the Run about, having all the people show me what it's like to run like a girl, show me what it's like to throw like a girl. And it was all these little kids like that were actors, and they were like they were auditioning for a commercial, girls and boys. And
Mm-hmm.
they would do like like flinging their arms around, or throw like a
Mm-hmm.
girl like they didn't know what they were
Yeah.
doing.
Right.
And then they would ask the kids, okay, show me how your sister runs. Show me how your
Mm.
sister throws. Or
Oh,
would your sister or your mom be mad if they thought that you said this is how girls run or this is how girls throw? And it would make the kids like think about it, like, oh yeah. And
mm.
then, and these were all like age 10 to 12, but then they had little girls on there, age 6 to 9, and they would say to them, show me how a girl runs. And they would just, oh, like really running. Like, and so it was the difference between the age
Oh,
of
wow.
when they kind of grew into thinking
Figured it
like
out.
girls are wimpy versus girls are strong. It was so powerful. And I'll send it to you. It's either I think it's with Dove. And it's like, let's change the focus of what run like a girl means. And we were like big into that campaign. It was amazing. And so I did that for like 3 years. And my daughter's not into running either, but we were just like, it's like a fun all girl thing after school. And then of course my son, John, was at school as well. He had to come and just like sit. He's like, oh, where's the iPad? Do I have to watch these girls run? I was like, yes, you do. And I did that. And then for a couple of years also when Anna was in Girl Scouts and Brownies and all that, I was the cookie mom.
Oh, you're the cookie mom, yeah.
And that was before the days of Zelle and Venmo. And it was all cash.
Checks and cash. And
if you could have seen my house, I'd look like Tony Soprano on a drug weekend. It was stacks of dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, you were making it rain.
It was
Girl Scout money. Yeah.
Girl Scout money. And nobody needs to put me in charge of money ever. I can't. And when I tell you, I was always like, I don't know, I'm $10 short. I can't. I was always just going into my wallet trying to like make up the balance because somehow along the way I messed it up.
You're making it. You're filling in the blanks with your own treasury.
Yeah. Yes. Because I was like, I think that person has 4 Samoas, but maybe I gave them 5.
Oh, that would 100% be me. I would not want to be involved. I would fail miserably.
It was, but now I think it's easier with the online payments and you can order the cookies online. You don't have to like have that big piece of paper that you fold out when you're writing down the 2 Samoas, the 1 Thin Mint, yes. And now every time I see the Girl Scouts, I would literally go and be like, okay, I'll take, these boxes, whatever. I used to be a cookie mom.
They're like, great, your time is gone. It's our time now. You're like, no, I want my props.
I want my props that I did this job before the days of Zelle and Venmo.
Yes, so you should be respected and honored. And I give you the kudos that you deserve. I'm giving you your flowers.
Yes, thank you. But I didn't dress up like Mary Shelley. But I'm wondering also, Amy, now I'm loving this for you so much. I'm wondering, is there another one that you can do? Like, can you take on 2 roles? Can you take another person's slack that didn't volunteer?
Interesting. Well, it's all week. I only have so much time, so no.
Okay.
I mean, I had to move so many things around. I'm up so late the last like 48 hours. So in order to do this, so it's like, and
will we have photos of this on your social media? Photos of you as Mary Shelley? Did you post it so that we can enjoy it?
I didn't, but perhaps I will. Maybe I didn't think about it. Perhaps I will.
I think the casting agents of the world need to know your range.
Right. Well, the funny thing is my hair is really blonde. So it was so cute. One of the kids in the classes, they had an iPad open or whatever. Yeah. And he happened to Google Mary Shelley. And, you see the painted portrait of her. Well, she's, she looks like she's got more, brown hair. And he held it up and he was like, is this you? And I took it. I was like, yes, that is me. Yes, of course, I've come to California and I decided to go to the salon and get the California looks. I've got highlights. Thank you very much. All right, moving on, because there's so much room. And I didn't want to wear a wig like all day, it was just too much.
Well, now that I find surprising. But that is actually the most shocking thing you've said the whole 10 minutes we've been talking.
For Rachel Ray, I did wear a wig.
Okay, good.
Last year.
Good. And you said yummo and edu and things like that. Yeah.
Right. E-O-O, and you got it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, we're not here to talk about that, although I did find that fascinating and I feel like I could talk about it for another
I know, me
minutes.
too. Yeah.
Let's start our chat with telling everyone that we're going to be together in Chicago in a couple of weeks. We're going to be at the Podcast Movement Conference. Amy's going to be on the panel that I've been on the last couple of years with Matt and Jake and Chris and Wah. We're doing a panel there. So if anybody's going to, several people have already told me, oh, I'm going to be there. I'm going to come see your panel.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be fun talking about reality TV. And then Amy has got a live show.
Yes,
All
I'm
right,
going
give
to
me the
do a
scoop.
live podcast of
Yes.
Drama Darling, which,
Mhm.
I've done live shows before, but not a podcast. So
Yeah.
this is exciting. Emily will be there, one of my
Mhm.
co-hosts, and we will be at the Apollo Theater on April 2nd in Chicago, 8 o'clock. And it's a great theater. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do reenactments, sketches, comedy stuff. I'll do a couple parody songs. We're going to talk Bravo, reality television, and I'll have special guests, one of which will be the one and only Mary Payne. And Matt and Jake will be there, also from Reality Gaze podcast.
Yes.
So I'm so excited. This is going to be fantastic. I have a couple other guests that will be joining me, and a lot of people who are darlings on the Patreon, my Patreon. A lot of people are flying out from other places and coming to see the show. So I'm really excited to connect with the darlings. So you can go to ticketmaster.com. You can search up Drama Darling and get your tickets there. Or you can go to Meet Amy Phillips, and there's a QR code posted on my page that's on Instagram, and get your tickets that way. It's general admission. It's going to be a great
very
time.
excited. I would like to tell you that even if I wasn't a part of it, I would buy a ticket and go.
Well, Mary Payne, look at you and your support. Your cup runneth over with support. You know that?
Listen, first of all, I think you're so talented, and I would just go see
Same.
you anyway. And I'm always
Likewise.
like next weekend, I'm going to see, Ben and Ronnie, and they're my friends. But I was like, and I went and saw John Hill a couple of weeks ago. I was like, no, I'm buying a ticket. I'm buying a ticket. No,
you want to support. Yeah,
listen,
I agree. I like to support too. I think that's
Ben
smart.
and Ronnie don't need my money, if you know what I'm saying. But
right. I do know what you're saying.
But I still paid for tickets for Ingrid and I to go.
That's nice.
We just want to support our friends.
Absolutely.
In this business, because you know what, guys? It's rough out here for podcasters.
Is it?
Yeah, we're working hard.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. I just wondered if it was harder now than it used to be, because you've been in the podcast game longer than me, because I was on Sirius XM. Radio's different. So
that's right.
Is it harder now than it used to be?
Here's the thing why I think it's harder. I think it's harder because every day and a half, a new person announces their podcast.
Oh, you mean Michelle from the Valley? Oh, do you mean Aaron and Abe from Real Housewives of New York? Oh, do you mean Gia Giudice from the Real Housewives of New Jersey, daughter of Teresa? Yeah. Oh, do you mean, wait, there's one more and I can't remember, because there were like 4 that came out.
Well, we've got the Jaxes of the world, and we've got who's of course also doing a podcast tour explaining to everyone how to be a man, which should be
right,
super interesting. And then we have Michelle Obama. She came out with
Oh yes, right. Yes, I saw that.
But Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
But I would just, even the ones that I mentioned, there were 3 in the Bravo world just in one day.
Yeah, that's right. And definitely all of them are qualified to host a podcast. And I'm sure all of them will be doing it in their homes with their beautiful wallpaper like we do. Yeah.
Not a chance, my friend.
With a just like us, with a staff of 6, just like I have, staff of 6. They're all in their offices next door, busy working for me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's rough out there when we are working, and then these famous people just swoop in with their teams.
I found the 4th one.
Who was it?
It's Bryn from New York. Please see below, with Bryn Whitfield. So that's 4
in one day.
In one day, or like within 48 hours of each other. These all came out. So
yeah,
it is.
That could be content that people are interested in. We'll see.
Yes, they will see.
What is Gia talking about?
I don't know. So her podcast name is something funny. It's something like Chaos, which I think is pretty apropos and quite appropriate for her, considering her life has been chaos. Oh, Casual Chaos with Gia Giudice. Listen, I'm definitely going to be checking that out at some point. I want to hear what she has to say.
Okay. So. Well, great. Well, that could be a topic for your live show. You could say we're going to do samples of what we think will be on these podcasts.
Mary Payne, I love you.
You could get Jake or Matt to come on as Abe, the babe.
I've already cast them as They've already been cast.
They've already been cast. Have I been cast?
No.
Okay. All right. Good.
Actually, I have an idea for you. So yes, kind of,
Okay.
unless I rearrange it, but
Okay.
you might be with Matt and Jake, but we'll see.
That's fine. Just give me
I think
ample
you will.
warning because,
Oh, I will.
I'm not an actor.
Oh, this is going to be perfect for you.
Okay, good.
Trust
Okay.
me.
Because they will do just about anything. And they also enjoy a wig. Both of them.
Oh,
Both
right.
of them. Y'all, we've all had embarrassing BO moments. Look, I'm from Mississippi where it's 150 degrees and humid in the summer, and BO should have been my middle name growing up, okay? And now, as a lady of a certain age with a bountiful bosom, my main issue has always been that under boob sweat. But luckily, I have Lumi, which is powered by mandelic acid to control odor in a new way. Lumi delivers outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet to your underboob and even your privates. Lumi was invented by a female OBGYN. Lumi has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love to feel confident from head to toe. And you guys, they have a new scent that you're going to love. It's called Vanilla Bliss. I love anything vanilla, and I love this so much. And it's apparently already on its way to being one of their most popular scents, even though it just came out. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant right now? You can find it at Walmart, Target, or other retailers. But to get the best deals, you should go to LumiDeodorant.com. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. You guys, the deodorant wipes are great. Leave them in your car, throw them in your purse. They're great. And it comes with free shipping. As a special offer for my listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. You have to do it. So insert code Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Okay. Use code Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's LumiDeodorant.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you, okay? Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi. Okay, so we've got all that out of the way. Let's talk about, okay, now, as you know, I'm not a summer house watcher. I don't want to be yelled at about it. It's just the case, and it's the truth. It's too late for me to jump in. The people in the house now are all 40 and having babies. It's too late for me to jump in to the summer house. I know the players. I don't know the game. So, but I am, of course, a huge Southern Charm fan and a huge Craig fan, even though I know he's a problematic liar. So I did listen to your coverage with Kate that you guys did together on both of your shows about Paige and Craig. So I want to talk about this because since I don't watch Summer House, I don't know the Paige side that we're getting on Summer House. I've seen the Southern Charm Craig side that we're getting, which is building him up for a very sad breakup that's going to shock him completely because he thinks they're getting married. What's happening over on Summer House? What is Paige's side of this story?
So on Southern Charm, they are in his backyard, right? They're talking about, did they go to dinner by any chance on Southern Charm? I can't remember because I'm getting them mixed up, where they were talking about how they want different things.
No. So on Southern Charm, the last we saw was because the new episode will come out on Thursday night when this show comes out. So I haven't seen the latest one, obviously, but the last we saw on Southern Charm, Craig was sitting picking his toes on the kitchen counter.
Sink. Okay.
Right. Talking about his struggles with, fearing he could fall into addiction because he did have the Adderall addiction and his drinking, and talking about that. But it was interesting. She's like, where do you want to have the conversation? Obviously, because the cameras and whatnot. And he says, let's do it in the kitchen. So I'm going to sit on the counter and pick my toes into the sink while you.
That was really gross. So yes. So what we saw, we did not see more feet in the kitchen sink over on Summer House.
Okay.
But we on Summer House, Paige is now at the point where she is like, wondering if this is going to work, and they're really coming from two different places.
Yeah.
You're starting to see it wax and wane, certainly, but
Okay.
more so, I think, on Southern Charm, because she's there, so they're having longer conversations, whereas he hasn't come up to the summer house yet,
Oh, okay. Okay.
so he hasn't been there yet. He will, I believe this week he's going to pop in, and if I am correct, the West has said something, it's a throwaway line where he says something like, wow, this guy is like out of control. He says something kind of negative about, or an egomaniac or something. He insults Craig.
Okay.
But we're seeing more of the relationship on Southern Charm right now.
Okay. So, but they did at the beginning of Summer House, they gave us like a clip, just like they did with Southern Charm, where they show how they picked up cameras and did some filming after the breakup to sort of talk about how it happened. And my understanding is what they showed on Summer House is different than, because we're seeing it from two different TV shows perspective. On the Southern Charm clip that we sort of a preview coming up, he's saying like, I'd bought a ring. Like she said she wanted to get engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess on Summer House, she's like saying, oh yeah, but he cheated on me. So, is that true?
Was that a preview on, that wasn't a preview. That was a preview on Summer House, not necessarily, we haven't seen that yet.
Right.
Them break up. Okay. I just want to make sure. Cause I'm like,
yeah, no, they showed
where
like
am I in the timeline. Okay.
Yeah. They showed like later on this season or whatever.
Yeah.
And so people are speculating like when
Mm-hmm.
they first started dating that maybe he cheated or something. I'm sure it wouldn't have been recent. Or maybe
he says he said he's never cheated.
I believe that. I don't see him as the cheating type.
What it was that there was a rumor going around that Paige had cheated on him, and he was saying he didn't say anything. He's like, in like real time, he wanted to say something along the lines of, I'm not getting myself involved. I never said that she cheated. To my knowledge, she didn't cheat. So whatever rumors are going around, I didn't start and I have nothing to do with it. And she got mad at him for not saying she 100% didn't cheat. So stop these rumors. He more or less was like, I don't want to speak to it, but he kind of left it out there for people to say, you can say what you want, but I'm not going to say anything. And she was pissed off about that.
Okay. Well, that Giggly Squad, that is a very popular podcast with the youth.
It's huge. They had such great success, and they were really in it early with their podcast. And I think that was an amazing feat to have built it up. That's why I feel like so much of their success, they grew along with it. Their podcast grew along with the success of her being on TV, as well as Hannah and her stand-up comedy career. They both have just been able to procure this amazing, incredible audience for themselves. Selling out Radio City Music Hall. For a lot. It's incredible.
Yeah. And my niece, who is 31 or so, she just loves Paige, loves the Giggly Squad. So that's like the sweet spot. And so she has my sister, who's older than me, now watching Southern Charm. So my sister, who's never watched any Bravo, will like every so often be like, oh my gosh, did you know there's Tom and Ravenel and Catherine, and they have 2 kids? I go, okay. Get when you're
like, even I know that.
Just get a little closer to the current timeline. Like I can't, and she's trying to like. I also have a friend. I don't know if you know Amy Archer, my friend who has Little Miss Recap podcast. She has never watched any Bravo at all. And so on her podcast, they've decided to do a rewatch, and they're starting at season 1, episode 1, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, having never watched one Bravo show ever.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh, wow.
So okay. I was like, listen, if you don't bring me on as a housewife consultant, like, what am I here for? Like, please ask me questions. Because I've been preparing my whole life for somebody just to ask me questions about these things. Know.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only question they've had so far when they first started was, do these people naturally know each other, or do they bring them on as a cast? And I'm like, this is an age-old question. It's very interesting. These people, in some senses, did somehow know each other. Meredith and Lisa, they've now said in the present that they weren't actually such good friends, but they were social friends. But I do believe Lisa knew Jen Shaw And
Mm.
I don't quite
Mhm.
understand how Mary Cosby got in there. But I said yes. And then Heather Gay and Whitney knew each other sort of. And then later
Mhm.
when they come on the show, realized that they are actually descendants of the
Yeah.
same polygamous line. Um, but I said no. I said the answer is yes and no. And I said, that's why some of the shows work better than others. The
Mhm.
original Roni cast working better than the new Roni cast, having just thrown a bunch of people in.
Mhm.
Um, but
By the
yeah,
way,
y'all, we've all had embarrassing BO moments. Look, I'm from Mississippi where it's 150 degrees and humid in the summer, and BO should have been my middle name growing up, okay? And now, as a lady of a certain age with a bountiful bosom, my main issue has always been that under boob sweat. But luckily, I have Lumi, which is powered by mandelic acid to control odor in a new way. Lumi delivers outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, to your underboob, and even your privates. Lumi was invented by a female OBGYN. Lumi has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love to feel confident from head to toe. And you guys, they have a new scent that you're going to love. It's called Vanilla Bliss. I love anything vanilla, and I love this so much. And it's apparently already on its way to being one of their most popular scents, even though it just came out. So, do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant right now? You can find it at Walmart, Target, or other retailers. But to get the best deals, you should go to LumiDeodorant.com. Lumi Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. You guys, the deodorant wipes are great. Leave them in your car, throw them in your purse. They're great. And it comes with free shipping. As a special offer for my listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. You have to do it. So insert code pink shade for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. Okay. Use code pink shade for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's LumiDeodorant.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you, okay? Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Lumi.
Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu is the podcast hosted by me, Stacey Keenan.
And me, Christine Lakin.
On Keenan and Lakin Give You Deja Vu, we recap the iconic 90s sitcom and TGIF mainstay step by step.
While I was a fan and watched every episode,
I am watching the show for the very first time.
We are lifelong friends and TV stepsisters.
So join us for a juicy peek behind the scenes as we explore what it was like to come of age in front of the cameras on a hit network TV show.
For sweet 90s nostalgia, breakdowns of classic 90s looks, and plenty of laughs. Let Keenan and Lakin give you deja vu.
On Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
if you ever wanted to watch Summer House, not to say that you do, but I would say that right now would be the time. And here's why.
Okay.
So you've got Lindsay and Carl, who have had this unbelievable tumultuous situation, which I'm sure you've heard about peripherally, where they were
Public
engaged.
breakup and all that. Mm-hmm.
They were engaged and then it was broken off last summer. So now she is pregnant with her new boyfriend. Her new boyfriend and her are expecting. So I'm sorry, not expecting. She's actually now had the baby.
Oh, she has.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
baby
Okay.
girl. Yeah. I believe her name is Gemma. And so, but she's pregnant right now on the show in the summer house. And so
which is strange.
Well,
which is strange.
It's strange, but we need to have her there in order to like wrap up, her story, or like, and personally, I really want to see a pregnant Lindsay in the summer house. I mean, that's just how I feel, but whatever.
Okay.
Other people feel differently. So Carl is also there. So we have to like wrap up their storyline, but that is such a huge thing. So I think that at this point, I don't know where they will go after this. Part of me thinks that we will never see the likes of them again after this season.
Recast like Vanderpump. They outgrew it.
Right. So if they're gone, because now we've got West, Jesse, Lexi. Who else is new
See,
to
I
the
don't know.
cast?
I don't know
Yeah.
these people.
No, I know that's because
I
they're
know
new.
Sierra. I know Carl. I know
Sarah's
Lindsay.
kind of new. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, so what I'm saying is there's a new crop coming in, and it's a turnover right now. So if you ever were to get involved, honestly, like you could even skip this season and start next season, because I don't know if they're going to recast any of these people, but it's going to be like you'll have the space and the elbow room to wiggle in there since it's going to be such a big turnover.
Yeah. It's a I'm laughing. It's a turnover season.
It's a turnover season.
It's like when you rent a house and they're like, Sunday is our turnover day.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Old people out, new people in. It's a turnover day. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's interesting. I love the idea. And I heard you and Kate talking about this. We've all been in like a shared house, when you were in college and you would go off and be like, okay, my son just did this for spring break. Like we got 12 guys in a house, so I get it. Like I did it too. But not when I was 40. I mean, maybe when I was 25, 26.
Right. I mean, the time has come. They need younger people who want to come to this house and just like, who cares where they sleep and what
they party, and they don't care if they're on a couch and they're not like, like Craig
and Amanda
on this.
And Kyle are moving.
They're
on,
married.
like they're married. And I mean, who knows how long they'll stay on, because they are, but I'm sorry, I cut you off. Craig, what were you going to say?
Oh, well, just like this a couple of episodes ago when they were in the Bahamas and Craig was like, I'm too old to share a room with somebody.
I know. I'm like, it's one weekend, buddy. I think you can handle it. But wow, Diva. Okay.
It's a free vacation.
Yeah.
God. It's like the Brothers on the White Lotus, sort of.
I don't watch the show because I know, and I will. I know it's so great. I know how
You've never watched any White Lotus or the current season?
I have never watched any.
Okay, well, so I'm not going to shame you like people shame me about the summer house. So, okay, so here's another thing people shame me about, and let's see how you feel, because I haven't asked you. How do you feel, and have you watched any of the Baldwins?
No, I haven't. I honestly don't really have any interest, but like I'm watching Denise, Denise and her wild thing. So I feel like that's
close.
Filling in. That's close enough.
Yes. So I'm covering the Baldwins over on the Pink Shade Prime. I put the first episode free on the free feed. And I got to tell you, I got a lot of people joining over there on Pink Shade Prime to listen because no one's covering it.
Oh, my, no one's covering it.
So I found
like new listeners.
Yeah, I found a niche market.
Oh, that's great. Wow.
Well, I have to tell you, I think it's good.
Oh,
and
okay.
I do. And it's good for several reasons. Okay. If you like the shows with lots of kids. So like my co-host Kimberly of A Date with Dateline is, a single lady. And so she says she doesn't, want to be married. She doesn't want to have kids. But so that's what she likes about it. She likes shows like the Duggars or thing with lots of kids, like Outdaughtered and all these shows. Because she likes
Outdaughtered.
Outdaughtered. That was a
real show. That's so funny.
7 Little Johnstons, like all these shows on TLC with all the kids. She's like, I don't know why I like it, because it's so different from my life, I guess, because I can shut it off and go back to my diamond painting. But
and know that that's not your life. Thank God, right?
She likes the organization that comes with that many kids, which, by the way, the Baldwins don't have that organization. And they have 2 nannies, and they have Carmen, the 10-year-old, who they treat as a nanny / adult. And we're always like, justice for Carmen. Carmen needs to go to summer camp. She doesn't need to be home babysitting the 1-year-old. They took Carmen to the trial in New Mexico because they were like, she needs to come to babysit the baby. Like,
oh, wow.
They left the 5 kids in the middle at home. The 5 kids in the middle get the least amount of attention. So Carmen, the oldest, is a business lady at all times, ready to go to a business meeting. She's 10 and she stands on business.
She's on salary with them. Yeah.
She's on salary. She's doing the taxes. Okay. The 10-year-old. And then you've got the baby, who they just call the baby. But her name, in fact,
Boss baby.
Her name is Ilaria.
It is like her mother?
Except for no H, just Ilaria.
Oh, so it's the way that she pronounces her name.
Her name, which is Hillary.
She's spelling it without, so that no one will ever put an H on. daughter's name?
Ilaria.
Okay.
The children's names are as follows, and I won't do the middle names, but they are also all Spanish. There's not an Irish Catholic name in there to represent Alec Baldwin's ilk. No, every name is the children, and I'm doing this off the top of my head. Okay, the children's names are as follows:
Okay.
Carmen, Rafael, Leonardo, Romeo. Because you're doing that now, you're throwing me off. Now I'm
going to put my hand down.
Okay, so I got Carmen, Rafael, Leonardo, Romeo, Edu. That's Eduardo, Edu, and Edu and Marie, who we call Lulu. They're not twins, but they are 5 months apart. More to be explained later. And then the baby is Ilaria.
7 kids.
Seven kids. So the 2 that are 5 months apart, she explained how that was humanly possible because she was the surrogate was pregnant.
Oh, she had a surrogate
with Lulu, Maria Louis, whatever. They call her Lulu, and so the surrogate was pregnant with Eduardo. Surrogate was pregnant with Lulu. She got pregnant with Eduardo. So she had Eduardo. The surrogate had Lulu. And then later on, she also had Ilaria. So she had a terrible miscarriage and then had a late term miscarriage with IVF and then decided she didn't want to be pregnant anymore. So they put the one female embryo they had left into the surrogate.
Mm-hmm.
Then she got pregnant naturally.
Oh my gosh.
And had Edu. And then after she had those 2 babies together 5 months apart, she got pregnant again. And now they have Ilaria.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is a really fascinating story, actually.
It really is. And she this week met with Carmen, who was at a business meeting with a 12-year-old friend named Fleur, who was British. And she talked to Fleur and her British sister about code switching. And how if you always hear one language all the time, speaking with an English accent, and then you're in America, do you find yourself speaking to your American friends in less of a British accent? Or when you're talking to your British friends, do you find you have more of a British accent? And all we're watching this going, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. You're trying to explain.
Justify what, right. We get it.
And then she tells the 15-year-old girl, who was doing her nails, by the way, she tells the 15-year-old girl, do you know what this is called? This is called code switching. Did you know? And the girl says, no, I didn't. And she says, it's because when you're around other people and you hear, and then you, like if you speak to an elderly person and you speak louder or slower, it's the same as if you're around Spanish speakers or British accents. So I was like, okay, we got it.
Right. I mean, there's truth to that to a degree, but not in which we've seen from her, which is like another level of what feels like from an outside perspective, somewhat of a delusional thing, obviously.
It is.
But she's rebranding and she's showing us, and so she'll come out of this fine.
And that's what we're doing here. We're rebranding. Yeah. And Alec, just every episode, it looks like he came right off the streets, just homeless.
He's tired.
He's so tired.
He's in lawsuits. Why is he even on the show in the middle of all this?
They start filming it 2 weeks before the trial. That
so weird to me. Like,
well,
very weird.
It's a PR move. And I guess also a lot of people point out that they started filming it 2 weeks for the trial. And if they would have gone to trial and it would have gone the other way, now she still has the show to film and has an income, right? If he had to be put away. But in fact, he didn't get put away.
I'm sure they have plenty of income from before.
Well, they do have a $32 million house in the Hamptons they're currently trying to offload. So we've done a lot of research on that home, which is incredible. It's on a horse farm in the Hamptons. It's pretty nice.
Wow.
So I would say all in all, you don't have to love Hilaria Baldwin to enjoy the show. And if you just like Alec Baldwin as like a funny person, it's pretty good. He's just shuffling around out in the backyard, running races with the kids, and goes, people keep saying, are you going back to work because you're a man? And I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm at home. I got 7 kids. And meanwhile, she's like, Alec, you need to get back to work. It's great. So I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10 and tell everybody to watch. And if you just want to hear us chat about it in a loving way, then head on over to Pink Shade Prime.
I love it. I love that.
What else are you watching that's not Bravo? Anything? You have no time.
Oh, no, well, I watch Traders. I always recap Traders, the celebrity Traders, you know. So that's always fantastic. We actually did a live stream. We watched it with our patrons at the same time. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Jamie and Emily and I, we all had the green cloaks, the trader cloaks that we wore. It was amazing. What an experience. I am now I'm watching Survivor. I haven't dipped into Survivor since Richard Hatch and Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Me too. That's crazy. That's
You're
how long
watching this season?
No, but I'm not watching it. But that's how long it's been. Yeah.
My friend Jamie, who hosts with me,
I love her. She's so funny.
Oh, isn't she the best?
She's so funny. Yeah.
So she, because there have been a lot of Survivor contestants on Traders, she was like fanning the flames of, you really should do the next season. So I considered it as like, I think that's a great idea. And so now we're just doing it every other week because so we're doing it every other week. And then in between that, I'm also recapping Grosse Pointe Garden Society, which is a show on NBC because I'm from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
You are?
Yeah. So it's a really funny niche.
Isn't John Cusack from there?
Joan and John Cusack are from Chicago.
But
you know what? John Cusack was in the movie Grosse Pointe Blank.
But I think the reason he was in it with the guy that was Ari Gold on Jeremy Piven. Sorry, it took me a second to get there. Jeremy Piven. He and Jeremy Piven grew up together
in Chicago.
Okay, but so it must be Grosse Pointe, must be the neighborhood because they were like, we're both from Grosse Pointe. But maybe Grosse Pointe Blank was about Michigan, and I just got that.
Grosse Pointe Blank was about Michigan.
Okay, so they grew up in Chicago, and they just felt it was close enough to Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Yeah, to be a part of.
I'm sure I read that in People Magazine in 1991, so I don't really know what I'm talking about.
No, you have it. They're both from the Midwest.
Okay, got it.
They and Michigan.
Okay, so you're what? So you are recapping just a regular TV show, not reality.
Yeah, which is crazy. And so I'm doing it with my friend who is from Grosse Pointe also, who lives here in LA, who's like a writer and a comedian. So we are now sharing our stories about growing up there and just funny things that, we talk about with Michigan and stuff like that as we talk about the plot of this show. So, and it's very Desperate Housewives.
I've seen the clips of it. It looks cute.
Okay. It's cute. Yeah. They're on the 4th episode now, and it has really gotten good. I'm very impressed with it. So recapping that, Southern Charm, Summer House, Below Deck Down Under, Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Denise and her wild things.
I saw the second episode. The second episode, not the first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
and then sometimes I'll do offshoots of documentaries. So coming up, we will do Scamanda. And that's kind of like a interesting, sort of a true crimey kind of.
Yeah, I listened to that podcast. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Same here. All right. And they have a show of it. There's a show out right now of Scamanda.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I think yes, I heard about that. Yeah, that woman was a real nutcase. Okay, but let's talk about Beverly Hills real quick. And again, I told you, just because we're friends, and I just don't, whenever I have friends on, I try not to make an outline of what we're going to talk about because there's no point. It's just going to go wherever. So these are my notes. They're written on a piece of paper. I just have listed the cast of Beverly Hills. So maybe it would spark something. This week, we saw Sutton really lose her shit on a boat. And I loved Kathy Hilton, just like, these boats are a bad idea.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. And I also saw a TikTok, and I don't know if you saw it. Somebody sent it to me. And if you don't know, they went through all of the beauty items on Kathy Hilton's counter and the cost.
Way. I need to see it. I did not see that. That's so good. Those huge glass jars. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Each jar. Well, it's just like,
how can I find that TikTok? What I need to see this.
I'm going to send it to you. Somebody sent it to me on TikTok. Okay. I'll go find it and send it to you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you to whoever sent it to me. And each jar, let's just say it's this, like I say, you just put it down, put it down, put it down. Each one was about $500 to $600.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
they
I
were all like
cannot
Dior,
Yeah.
baby whale sperm, just like the
Right.
most weird thing you've ever heard in your life,
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so good.
So she was right about the boats. So Sutton lost her shit on a boat, and at the end there, she's leaning toward. She's just like, "Give me a minute. These ladies are such bitches."
Yeah.
And then does she then call them assholes? Is that what she said?
Did she call them assholes? I don't know.
It was
Maybe
bleeped.
it was bleeped. Yeah.
She's like, "They are such bitches." I think she said they are fucking assholes. I think is what she
Mhm.
said.
But she really goes from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds flat. When she's getting called out, she just really goes for it. This ping pong, I mean, the revisiting of this argument between Dorit and Sutton it's unbelievable. How many times are we going to hit the same bell? Dorit, stop. First of all, stop it.
Well, what's the thing she's mad about first? Was it
my
the
God.
wallet comment, or it was before that? So initially, Sutton got mad because she called her out by like, "Does it have alcohol in it?" Of course, it's a
Yeah.
Sutton. But there was something before that spurred her to say that, when they had the fight at the table, when they were like lunging at each other, when Kyle got involved and the vein was popping out. Does it all go back to that party with Camille Grammer? Is that why? Is that where it started?
I think it probably did start there, because that's when Sutton introduced the sisterhood, or actually, I'm sorry, she introduced the sisterhood before that.
Yes.
And then at that Camille Grammer party is when she kind of came for Dorit. And then at that point, it really started to lift off from there. And then
That's what she said. "You're not mad at me. You're mad about your life."
Oh, right. Yes. Very good. You've got a good memory.
No, I don't. I'm talking it through as we go. Because I'm trying to remember. And a lot of times on these shows, I have to do this. I have to go back. What are we mad about initially?
And quite frankly, I rarely go back. Like, you are really you're going back in the annals of the archives.
It's just a few weeks. It's just a few weeks, but I can't remember.
Like a forever ago, because it really is the same thing. So when Dorit says something to Sutton again at this party, it's like, you're serious? Like, I thought you guys had already agreed that you would just build from here. We already had the conversation. So for Dorit to come back in like she always does, she just continues to do this and extends the arguments to something that doesn't need to continue. You just need to give it time to get to set back to normal. Like, put it in the fridge.
Just ignore each other.
At it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Until it just gets normal again. But instead, she's like, "Oh, it's a weird vibe." And then I just have to say, Sutton, you've been really mean to me in the past. It's like, we already know that, Dorit. Like, stop. So then Sutton's like, "Well, you have too." And so then we're just back to the whole thing again. And then, of course, this was Erica's big moment to say what she said,
Erica.
which was really funny, actually. Yeah. She had a whole little soliloquy in which she kind of painted a picture, and I thought, wow, I didn't really think about that. She's like, you get women when they're at their lowest. You kick a dog when it's down. You did it to Kyle. You did it to me. And now you're doing it to Dorit. And I was like, wow, she's really right about that. But I also am kind of conflicted, because when it comes down to it, Sutton really is the only one who has had the confidence and the nerve to call out what is happening with these other people that we see as fans. So challenging Kyle about Morgan.
Yep.
Asking Dorit about everything that she's asking her about, money, all that other stuff. Asking Erica about, well, why is this money in your account from Girardi Keese? So she is asking all the right questions.
She did read the entire article. Remember.
That's right. One of the few.
Yeah.
And the only one. But she's got a job to do and she knows it. Does she do it in the best way? Absolutely not. But at least she's showing up and doing it. So I am very conflicted with Sutton playing the game hard and then also playing it too hard,
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
they both have somewhat of a point. It's just that Erica's sticks a little better because we're not going behind the curtain of reality television. If you really look at it, none of these other women were willing to approach Erica. They're like, Sutton, you do it. You do it, Sutton.
Yeah, yeah,
Sutton,
yeah.
you talk to Erica. Sutton, you
Yeah.
ask Kyle. Sutton, you ask Dorit. You know, they put her up to it in a way, or she takes it on
Yeah.
and is willing to do it.
That's a great point. It's so interesting where she's just like, we are not going to do this. Like she just like, she can't, because she's been on this show long enough to know what they're doing. She's like, it is not going to be take Sutton down on a boat. Okay. I mean, and you're a bunch of fucking bitches. Okay. And she's like, I just need a minute. And I love it. I love it so much because I love Sutton. And I think the thing that she said about the wallet was horrible. And I do think she meant it. And I don't think she's sorry.
I agree with you.
And I think she's like, well, I made my point and you heard me. And yeah, you would accept my apology for a Kelly bag. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think it's great. I think she's great TV. And I don't care if people are mad at her.
Yeah. I mean, we want to be mad at her. We want to be mad at people. Like, it's no fun if you're not like appalled. You know what I mean?
And did you see Garcelle on Watch What Happens Live talking about the Kyle thing? And she was like, yeah, I've been asking it. And Andy's like, yeah, you're really just going for it. And she was like, well, why doesn't she have to tell us? You know? And it's like, we've been now 3 seasons with this Morgan thing. And it's like, well, I have a friend who doesn't want to. Are we talking about Morgan? Like, why are we now calling her your friend when she filmed with you last year?
Right.
It is. She's like, she's been on cast trips. What are we talking about? Yeah.
She has our heads, spinning, but I have completely resolved myself. I honestly, at this point, and I really did sort of feel this way last year. I was like, you know what? She's got to do what she's got to do at her pace. If she's not comfortable, she just isn't comfortable. And I don't need that from her. I mean, she's just as much shown us enough to where I'm fine.
Yeah.
Knowing or not knowing. And the bottom line is this season, Kyle is showing us all the cracks of her marriage and family. And
you're right.
Going through all this right there on camera. And for Bose to show up and be like, I saw Mo at Soho with a hoe. It was just like that being on camera, talking about all of that.
Yeah.
Is next to perfection as far as how much you want to get out of a person who's on a reality TV show. She's showing us all that. So if she chooses to take one piece of her life, that whether it's big or not, and puts it to the side and doesn't want to expose that at this time, I'm honestly fine with that. I just get upset about, I see people's points when they're saying, well, Garcelle, I mean, well, Erica actually said this on the show. Why are you, who are you dating? What are you doing? Who are you sleeping with? I don't know anything about you. Well, so why are you asking all this stuff about everybody else? Yeah, I understand her point. And I think she has a good point. So maybe stop asking at this point. It does seem weird that you keep pushing on it.
We don't know who Erica's dating either, by the way. So also the same applies to her. And maybe they're dating nobody. I don't know.
I mean, that could be the case, but also Garcelle has a very non-dramatic life right now. Everything seems to be very stable and neutral. And that's not going to make for great reality television with her storyline because there's nothing scandalous. There is just like she's doing great. Like her career is doing great. Her kids are doing great. Yeah. She co-parents extremely well. And that's that. So there's nowhere to go with that. So I would just, with her, I'm just kind of thinking, try not to lean so hard into coming after Kyle at this point, especially if you don't have much to support on your end by way of sharing anything vulnerable. Kyle already is sharing something vulnerable. I get it that you're like, why are we allowed to talk about Mo? Well, Kyle's not really bringing up Mo. It's in the tabloids.
Yeah.
So it's not even really her fault. It's just, it's out there. So, and she's responding to it. She's on defense, Yeah.
It's interesting. She's like, I want to go on this trip. I can't wait to be away from the paparazzi and, that kind of stuff, which is an interesting way to have to live. But
the paparazzi thing, Garcelle's very questionable about that. And what I would say to that is that the correlation she gave about Julia Roberts, it's like, well, I don't think she understands that the Bravo world and the Bravo fandom is so rabid.
Rabid, yes.
Way more rabid than a Julia Roberts fan. So like when
Yeah.
someone's at a concert, at Morgan's concert, and they see Kyle backstage, they're going to snap that pic and
Of
they're going to
course.
send it in a back grid or Daily Mail or TMZ. And guess what? Those are going to be great headlines for those tabloids because that's what people are clicking on. No one
Yeah.
cares if Julia Roberts is at the beach. No one cares. There's nothing
Right.
going on there. So
Right.
that example doesn't hold up in today's pop culture. It
Mhm.
just doesn't.
Well, and Sutton made the same point about she saw Jennifer Aniston at the Mykonos airport and there was nobody there taking pictures because I don't think a paparazzi took that picture of Maurice and that girl. I think it was somebody
Exactly.
like me or
Yeah.
you, like, holy shit, look
Right.
at that. And just with your iPhone, took a picture and sent it to TMZ and they gave him $1,000 or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think that it was set up with his girlfriend, allegedly. I think that
Oh.
his girl tipped off whomever or had a
Mm,
friend there and took the picture and then sent it in. I mean, I think that she was
really?
behind it. Yeah. I don't think he knew.
No, I don't think he knew. I thought it was just like a
Mhm.
regular Bravo fan happened to be in the airport and see Mauricio and this girl
That
and took
could
a
have been
picture.
too. That could have been too. It could
'Cause
have
if
been
you
either one. Yeah. But it wasn't like a paparazzi hiding out
No.
waiting.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But they do have the paparazzi this week on the Baldwins, so just FYI.
Hmm.
Alex punches no one, which is great.
Oh, wow.
He said he'd be exhausted at age 66 if he had to punch people all day. He's just tired.
He
He's
is
just
tired.
He is
He
tired.
needs a nap.
Yeah, we're hoping season 2 will bring him a lower bluff, is what we're hoping. Okay, let's talk about
That's funny.
well, I mean, it's true. The reboot, it's seeming of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, did
Mm.
you know Cynthia was going to be on? Because I had no idea.
I can't remember because there were so many reports here and there, but I think at some point I had heard she was going to be a friend.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
she definitely
Kenya
is.
was going to be a friend.
Is Kenya a friend? I didn't know
Mhm.
what their official status was.
Yeah, she's a friend.
Okay, well, Kenya, as per usual, looks incredible.
Oh,
You can
always.
never look away when
And
she's on the
Cynthia
screen.
too. My God.
Well, Cynthia's a supermodel.
Mhm.
So we don't have Phaedra yet, which we're all pins and
Yeah.
needles. We're all waiting on. Now we have, these are my notes about the 3 new cast members. Okay.
Okay.
So Angela Oakley, I have written down nose because that's how I remember her because of her pinched nose job.
Oh,
Her nose
pinched
is
nose job. Oh
it's
my
a
gosh.
it's a LaToya Jackson adjacent squeezed nose job.
Now I got to look it up and
Now
take
she's
a
looking at a
closer
picture.
look. Okay.
But I will tell you that as I had it on last night, is stylistically it's all different now, which I love. I love when they spruce up the style, right?
Mhm.
The intros, the talking heads, the confession, everything. I love it.
Mhm.
A lot of boobs everywhere. Well,
Mhm. Oh yeah, I see it.
see
Okay.
the nose? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's how I remember who's who. So because when they introduce 3 new people, that's rough for us guys. That's 3 new people.
Oh, it always
It's
is.
hard. It's
Oh
hard.
my God. Yeah.
Well, my husband walked through the room last night as I was watching and said, "Is that Charles Oakley?"
Yeah.
And I paused. I go, "Yes, it is. He's
Same with that happened with my husband too, literally at the same time. Yes.
yeah." They were it was when Charles was in the kitchen cooking and they were
Yep.
talking and he had the gloves on. He's talking about the messy kitchen. And my husband comes in, walks in. He knows not to talk to me when I'm watching my programs. And he goes, "Excuse me, can I say something?" Pause. Yes. He goes, "Is that Charles Oakley?" He goes, like, "You know who that is? Like, he played with Jordan. He played for Dutta." And I go, "I don't care." And he goes, "Well, what is this show?" And I said, "It's Real Housewives of Atlanta. He's married to that woman who's a cast member." He's like, "Dude, really?" And he's like so
Wow.
disgusted that
Oh, he was
somebody,
disgusted?
yeah, that somebody he reveres as like a real celebrity would deem to
Mm.
put himself on a show like this.
Oh
always
my God. Wow.
He's always
Mhm.
upset when it's someone he knows is on.
I understand.
It's upsetting for him. He was upset when like Denise Richards was on Real Housewives. He's like, "Denise Richards is on the Housewives?" Like he's just like, what has
That's
become of
so
this world,
funny.
you know?
Wow. Yeah, my husband did the same thing where he was like, "Wait a second." It
Mhm.
was amazing timing that both of our husbands came in the room at that time.
Yeah, it came in. So, by the way, Charles Oakley, real cute.
Very cute.
Real
And
cute.
knows his way around the kitchen, which I appreciate.
And I like a man scolding a woman for getting in his way in the kitchen. I was like, that's right.
Oh, and by the way, she doesn't need his money because she was doing quite well without him. I
Yes.
loved that.
They are just like powerhouses on their own. So it seems like they each have one kid, or maybe he had two and then they have one together.
I think that's the case. Yes.
Yes. Because her daughter was there, and then it seems like maybe she said something about he had two kids and then they had the one together. You muted yourself.
Yes, there's noise in the background. So
okay, sorry. Okay, because you were nodding and I didn't know what that meant.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first one is the Angela Oakley, because Nose and Charles Oakley. Okay, we got it. She's rich in her own ways. Then we have Kelly. So Kelly is short, very tiny.
Yes.
And she
big
has
as a minute, as my mother would say.
She's just a slip of a thing, is what my mother would say. You could just fit her right in your pocket. And she had that dog that was very upsetting to me, Amy, the dog. Did you not notice?
Wait, what about the dog? I'm trying to remember.
Amy, the dog had been to like the Disney Princess salon. It had pink ears.
Oh no.
Frizzly silver things all tied into its hair. It was like a JoJo Siwa from back in the day. That's what the dog looked like. The dog looked like a dog version of JoJo Siwa.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how I missed that. Maybe I blocked it out. That's disturbing. Yeah.
It was very disturbing. And it was like a tiny little dog running around with like more makeup on than I wear. Like really. And then, so I remembered her. Okay. And she is the waffle queen.
Oh, I love her. She is so booked and busy and has incredible things in the works and has been for many years. It really makes me feel like I'm doing nothing with my life when I look at someone like her. I'm like, oh, great. Now I feel like shit.
Yeah. But I thought there is some sort of waffle chain that I'm not aware of, that she is head of this empire. But no, there is in fact only one restaurant. There was another one that her ex-husband took over and closed in Conyers. So she's trying to open a second one. She's trying to make this second one she's opening be the one that they will look at for franchise purposes.
Yes. Great. And it sounds like her ex is a real troublemaker. She's been through it.
It sounds like the older daughter is from a former relationship, and then the two kids she has are with the ex-husband.
Right.
And the daughter turned 17 and got 17 different designer bags.
I mean,
okay.
Wow. You know?
Many people don't have one, but this girl's got 17.
Yeah. So,
okay, great.
Good for her.
So then we have a girl named Britt. Now, Britt is living that townhouse life, but she's got like a 10-carat diamond ring.
This is, look, if we're talking 10 carats, this is where we're looking at like lab created diamond. We're looking at, this is where we're at with that.
And no shade on that. Do it.
No, that's fine. Yes. She's got this, her fiance, Mike, who is, it just is feeling weird. She's got her mom that she wants to move in. They're talking about having a baby. It's giving a lot of very strange vibes. So I am very unstable in her world.
With Britt, I'm confused because at some point she says to mom, let's get in the sauna. And then they go to the basement. Is the sauna in the basement? Are you allowed to have a sauna in a townhouse basement? Like, I don't know.
Okay. So she said that to her mom. I feel like somebody said that the mom said that to Mike. And I was like, I don't think that's right. I don't remember her saying that to the husband.
Well, as they went down, they said, like, are you going to come? And he was like, no. And he looks like he hates both of them with a fiery passion. He's like, I don't want to have a baby with you. And I don't want you to live in this house.
He does seem like he really dislikes them both. And being a part of this. Yes, I agree.
So that'll be interesting because it can't all be Charles Oakley in the kitchen making ribs. We got to have somebody that's going to hate their wife.
Yeah. And we have Drew, which with Ralph in the basement and her just telling very like a fib here and there that she thinks is going to cause no harm. At this point, they all added up to just a mountain of lies.
Drew. Listen,
Oh my
Drew,
God.
we thought we didn't want her back, but
Doing?
now we're seeing that she's involved with the hot dog king. And so now we do want her back.
Yeah, of course, the hot dog. She's had all these legends produce her music, but they haven't been able to get her to the point that she wants. But of
Uh-huh.
course, the hot dog king will be the magical producer that will get you where you want to be. What are you doing, Drew? I don't understand the choices that she makes. And also, the hot dog king, how dare you do this to Portia? Portia had
Agreed.
such a great point that we got on that hot mic at the end, which was like, what if something happens between you and I, and now you have a platform to go and talk about me on my platform if you're
Mm-hmm.
shooting with Drew, and Drew setting up scenes with him? He is so thirsty.
I loved
Drew
how
is
she
so
looked at
thirsty.
production and said, "Can I break the fourth wall?" I
Oh,
loved that.
wasn't that great?
That was great. And by the way, where were they? Were they in Shamia's
Yeah.
bedroom?
It was an upstairs entertainment room, I guess. I mean, who knows what room? I mean, the house is huge, but yes.
Did we know Shamia? Okay, we've seen Shamia over the years. We've
Yes,
seen
but
her,
this house is new,
but
and I
we
think
didn't
they've
know she was so
really
rich.
no, because it hasn't been in the forefront, and I think that the money just really started coming in,
HVAC,
I think.
HVAC,
HVAC, baby.
HVAC in airports.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, she's like, I'd like to say, he's a Nigerian king, but in fact, it's HVAC.
Yeah, I love HVAC.
Shamia's confusing me with her short hair though, because we're always used to her having long hair. And when she first came on with that short hair, I was like, I don't think that's Shamia, but it is. And she was just on Watch What Happens Live, and I watched it, but I didn't pay close enough attention. But it seems the show is being centered around Shamia.
It does. And she says herself that she's the glue because she really does know everybody on the cast, and she has some sort of pretty good connection with them. Whereas you can't say the same for everyone.
Yeah. And that goes to the question that Amy asked me about Salt Lake City. Like, does it matter if the people know each other beforehand? And yes, it does.
It does.
It does.
I wonder how Shamia will. I like seeing Shamia. I mean, she's been through a lot. I've always followed her on social media, so I knew what was going on with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that she was having difficulty. I just kept, when I would scroll and I'd see her stuff, I'm like, oh my God, poor Shamia, and I kept thinking, like, it's just crazy to me how she hasn't been on the show, because she seems to have a very rich life. And I don't even mean monetarily. But then when I started to see on her Instagram that she's showing this new house, and I'm like, why, she needs to be on this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm glad that they did that. But
do you miss Marlo?
No, I mean, no, not at this point, because it's too early to say. Like, I typically, for me, I don't really think about the past housewives. I try to really immerse myself in the present. And then if by the end of the season or the next season, I feel like, I want to make room to think about missing someone, maybe I will. But typically, if they're gone, they're gone. And if there isn't a specific point to bring up their name, I typically never really bring it up unless it's something that's very important to say, like, this person would have never gotten away with this had Marlo been on the show, or this is what Marlo would have done, and I would have liked to have seen her, and now I miss her, but that usually doesn't happen very often.
It's like the photo of Karen they had at the reunion. They just, what would Karen do? And they would speak to the photo. Do you think I should try to go visit Karen in jail?
Absolutely.
No. Like, remember that time I met you in the train station in New York? Remember that? Can you put me on your visitors list?
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I think we've covered it all. I've
Okay.
got my list here. We got Paige, Craig, Southern Charm, Atlanta, Beverly Hills. I gave you my thoughts on the new Atlanta gals, and I got to tell you, I watched the first 2 episodes back to back because I didn't get to watch it last week, and that helped me keep myself grounded in the new ladies.
That had to have helped.
It really helped.
I think it's off to a great start. I'm very excited about these new ladies. I think they've got some great ones. They are inspirational. They're aspirational in their wealth and what they do. Very entrepreneurial. And I like the connections. And I'm very, and bringing Drew back was good, because this is just some messy, delusional drama. And that we do need a major heavy hand of that on Housewives. So
are we going to see Ralph, you think? Is he going to come up from the basement, or?
I really.
Speaking of thirsty.
Yeah, thirsty.
Huh. Well, Amy, we talked about your show in Chicago. If you missed that, rewind to the beginning. It's Chicago. It's Wednesday, April 2nd. Yes.
Mhm.
8 p.m. The Apollo Theater. I will be there. Matt and Jake will be there. We're
Yay.
very excited about that.
Yay.
And tell everybody everything else about
You
your
can,
podcast.
yes, I post 2 to 3 episodes on the free feed over on Drama Darling. You can find that podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. And then I have more over on patreon.com/Drama Darling. You can also follow me at Meet Amy Phillips on Instagram for more.
And that's where you'll be seeing her Mary Shelley impression coming soon.
Coming soon to you. Thank you.
Otherwise, amazing Housewives impressions.
Thanks,
there.
Mary Payne.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.